War Master Thexa stood on the bridge of his flagship, the Crimson Talon, and watched the stars slide past the viewing screen. His 4 eyes gleamed with satisfaction as he reviewed the fleet formation behind him. 300 warships, each one capable of destroying a small moon, all under his command. The Krillian Empire had sent its finest to claim the Sol system, and Thexvar would not disappoint. The navigation officer turned from her station, her scales rippling with uncertainty. War Master, we are approaching the boundary markers. The automated warnings have begun broadcasting. Thexa made a dismissive gesture with his clawed hand. Let me hear them. The bridge speakers crackled to life. A calm artificial voice spoke in perfect Krillion. Warning. You are approaching the territorial borders of the Sol system. Turned back immediately. This space is under quarantine. For your own safety and the safety of your crew, do not proceed beyond this point. This is not a threat. This is a warning given in friendship. Please turn back. Several officers on the bridge chittered with amusement. Dexa himself felt his mandibles spread in what passed for a smile among his people. The message repeated in other languages he recognized and many more he did not. The effort was almost touching in its futility. A quarantine, Dexvar said, his voice dripping with mockery. The humans speak of safety and friendship while trying to hide their pathetic world behind empty threats. His chief science officer, an older Krillian named Vexton, approached with cautious steps. War Master, perhaps we should consider the warning. Our intelligence about this species is limited. We know they achieved faster than light travel only 50 years ago. We know they have no colonies outside their home system, but we do not know why they have issued this quarantine. Thexa turned his full gaze upon Vexton. The science officer was old, perhaps too old, and age had made him soft. Tell me, Vexton, how many species has our empire conquered? 47, War Master. And how many of those species warned us away before we claimed their worlds? Vexton's scales darkened with shame. 32, War Master. Exactly. Every weak species tries to frighten the strong with warnings and bluster. They hope we will believe their lies and leave them alone. But we are Krillian. We do not frighten easily. Thexa walked to the center of the bridge, his voice rising so all could hear. This human species sits on a single planet with no empire, no colonies, no visible fleet. They have drawn a line in space and told the galaxy to stay away. What reason could they have except fear? They know they cannot defend themselves, so they try to scare us away with mysterious warnings. The bridge crew responded with clicking sounds of approval and agreement. Only Vexton remained silent, his old eyes troubled. Thexvar accessed his command console and pulled up the intelligence. Reports on humanity. The data was sparse, gathered mostly from long-range sensors and intercepted communications. The humans had made first contact with other species only 20 years ago. They had been welcomed into the galactic community with curiosity, as all new species were. But then, mysteriously, they had withdrawn. They had established their border and refused all visitors. They had closed their system and warned everyone away. The other species had respected this request, mostly out of confusion and lack of interest. The Sol system was unremarkable, containing nothing of obvious value. There were thousands of other systems to explore and exploit. Why waste time on one strange species that wanted to be left alone? But the Krillian Empire did not accept closed doors. The Empire expanded, always expanding, and every system was a potential asset. If the humans wanted to hide something, then that something was worth taking. Navigation commanded. Take us across the boundary. All ships battle formation. Shields at maximum. Weapons charged and ready. The fleet moved forward as one. A massive formation of death and destruction. The warning boys continued their broadcasts. The artificial voice never changing its calm, almost sad tone. Turn back. Please turn back. You do not understand the danger. We are trying to protect you. As the first ships crossed the invisible line that marked the border, something strange happened. All communication with the outside galaxy simply stopped. The background chatter of quantum communications. The constant data streams from distant stars. The routine check-ins with Krillian command. All of it went silent at once. The communications officer stabbed at her controls frantically. War Master, we have lost all external communications. I cannot reach Fleet Command. I cannot reach any relay stations outside the boundary. It is as if a wall has appeared behind us. Vexton moved to his science station, his claws flying over the displays. War Master, I am detecting unusual energy patterns throughout this region. The quantum fabric of space itself shows signs of manipulation. This is not natural. Thea felt the first small stirring of doubt in his heart, but he crushed it immediately. The humans have deployed some kind of jamming technology. Clever, but useless. They cannot jam our weapons. Navigation set course for the inner system. We will proceed to their home world and show them what happens when they defy the Empire. The fleet pushed deeper into human territory. Hours passed, then days. The ships encountered nothing but empty space. No defense stations, no patrol ships, no mines or weapon platforms. The region was eerily quiet, as if abandoned. Where are they? The tactical officer muttered, scanning her displays over and over. There should be something. Border defenses, monitoring stations, something. The VAR paced the bridge, his confidence slowly being replaced by irritation. The humans were playing games with him. They had to be watching, had to be planning something. But what? On the third day after crossing the border, 3 scout ships were sent ahead to survey the region more quickly. They jumped to faster than light speed and disappeared from sensors. They were scheduled to report back in 6 hours. 6 hours passed, then 12, then 24. The scout ships never reported back. Dexvar stood at the viewing screen, staring into the darkness of space. Behind him, the bridge crew worked in tense silence. The mood had changed. The confident chatter was gone, replaced by nervous efficiency. War Master, Beakston said quietly, approaching from his station. I recommend we turn back. Something is wrong here. The energy patterns are growing stronger. Ship sensors are malfunctioning in ways I cannot explain. The crew is reporting strange sightings. Shadows moving in empty corridors. Sounds with no source. And now 3 ships have vanished without a trace. Vexavar turned on him with fury. We do not retreat. We do not show fear. We are Krillian. We are the apex predators of this galaxy. Some sensor glitches and missing scouts will not turn us back like frightened children. But even as he spoke the words, Thesa felt something he had rarely experienced in his long military career. He felt doubt. He felt the cold touch of uncertainty creeping up his spine. The humans had warned them. They had warned them repeatedly. Calmly, without anger or threat. Just simple warnings given almost with sadness. As if they knew what was coming and wished to prevent it. What did the humans know that the Krillian Empire did not? Dexa pushed the thought aside and turned to his navigation officer. Continue on course. All ships maintain formation. We will reach the human home world within the week. Prepare the invasion forces. The fleet moved forward through the silent darkness, unaware that they had already crossed a point of no return. Behind them, the warning boys continued their endless broadcasts into the void. Patient and sad, waiting for the next fleet that would ignore their words. In the depths of space around them, things were beginning to notice the intruders. Ancient things, patient things. Things that had waited for millions of years and could wait millions more. But they would not need to wait much longer. The Krillians had made their choice. Now they would face the consequences. 2 weeks had passed since the Krillian fleet crossed into human territory. 2 weeks of traveling through empty, silent space. War Master Thexa stood at his command station, reviewing sensor logs that made less sense with each passing day. The fleet had slowed its advance. After losing the 3 scout ships, Thexvar had ordered a more cautious approach. They moved as a tight formation now. All 300 ships within quick support range of each other. It was not the aggressive push he had planned, but even his pride had limits. Report, he commanded. The sensor officer, a young Krillian named Petra, looked up from her station with troubled eyes. War Master, the anomalies continue. Our long-range sensors detected what appeared to be a space station 3 hours ago. When we approached, there was nothing, just empty space. This is the 7th Phantom reading this week. Equipment failure, Theexbar said, but his voice lacked conviction. All sensor arrays show perfect function. War Master, I have run diagnostics 17 times. The equipment is working correctly. It is detecting something, but when we arrive that something is no longer there, or perhaps was never there at all. Beakston emerged from the science lab looking older than his years. He had not slept well since they crossed the border. None of them had. War Master, I need to show you something. Dexavar followed him to the science station. Fexton pulled up a three-dimensional map of their traveled route through the Saul system's outer regions. These red dots represent the phantom sensor readings, Vexton explained. At first, I thought they were random. Equipment glitches as you suggested. But look at the pattern. Dexavar studied the map. The red dots seemed random at first glance, but as he looked longer, he saw it. The dots formed a loose spiral around there. Fleet's path-like. Something had been circling them, staying just out of direct contact. They are watching us, Beakston said quietly. Something is tracking our movements, appearing and disappearing, testing our senses, perhaps learning about us. Then why not attack? Vexa demanded. If the humans have forces shadowing us, why not engage? We are deep in their territory. This would be the perfect opportunity for an ambush. Beakston was quiet. For a long moment. War Master, I do not believe these readings are human ships. Before Thesa could respond, alarms blared across the bridge. The communications officer shouted over the noise. War Master, we are receiving a distress signal. It is not from our fleet. The signature is unknown. Location 3 million kilometers ahead. War Master, whatever is sending the signal, it is not moving. Thexa made his decision quickly. Take us there. Battle stations. All weapons ready. The fleet moved toward the signal source. As they approached, their sensors began to paint a picture of something large floating in space. When they were finally close enough for visual confirmation, the bridge crew fell silent. A ship drifted before them, dead and dark. But it was not a human ship. The design was completely unfamiliar, with strange angular surfaces that seemed to bend light in odd ways. The hull was massive, easily twice the size of Thesa's flagship. Can you identify the species? Thexa asked. Beakston worked at his console, comparing the ship's design to every known species in the galactic database. After several minutes, he looked up with confusion clear on his face. War Master, this ship does not match any known species. The design is completely unique. But that is not the strangest part. He pulled up an image of the hull. Even on the screen, Theexvar could see something wrong with the surface. It was covered in marks, scratches, and burns that formed patterns. His translation implant began working automatically, processing the marks as language. Words appeared on his screen in Krillian. The same message repeated hundreds of times across the hall in dozens of different languages. Leave. They are watching. Turn back while you can. Do not proceed. Danger. They are always watching. The bridge was silent except for the hum of the ship systems. Vexavar stared at the translated message, feeling his blood run cold. Someone had taken the time to carve warnings all over their ship's hull in every language they knew. Someone had been desperate to warn anyone who came after them. Send a boarding team, Thesa ordered. I want to know what happened to the ship and its crew. The boarding team returned 3 hours later. Their leader, a battle-hardened soldier named Crixton, looked shaken as he made his report. War Master, the ship is empty. There are signs of habitation, personal belongings, half-eaten meals in what we believe was their dining area. But no bodies, no crew, no signs of battle or struggle. They simply vanished. How long has the ship been here? Based on the decay of organic materials, our science team estimates between 10 and 15 years. The ship's computer is too damaged to access, but we found more warnings. Inside the ship, carved into walls written on surfaces, even burned into deck plates. Always the same message. Leave. They are watching. Thexa dismissed the boarding team and stood alone at the viewing screen, watching the dead ship drift. Behind him, he heard Vexton approach. We should turn back, War Master. No, that ship came here just as we did. That species ignored the warnings just as we have, and now they are gone. We do not even know what happened to them. Please, War Master, pride is not worth I said no. Thexa turned to face his science officer. We cannot turn back now. We have come too far. The crew is already frightened. If we retreat now, we show weakness. The Empire will see us as cowards. I will not have that mark on my record. Beakston's scales darkened with resignation. Then we are already dead. We just do not know it yet. The fleet left the derelict ship behind and continued toward the inner system. But the mood had changed completely. The confident warriors who had crossed the border were now nervous. Soldiers jumping at shadows. Reports of strange occurrences increased daily. Crew members reported seeing movement in empty corridors. Security teams found no one there. Ships' clocks began to drift out of synchronization, each ship reporting slightly different times. Despite being linked to the same atomic standards, crew members complained of nightmares, all sharing similar themes of being watched by something they could not see. Vexton's science team worked around the clock, analyzing the strange readings. War Master. The quantum fluctuations are growing stronger as we move deeper into the system. Space itself is behaving strangely. It is as if reality here is not quite stable, as if the normal laws of physics are being bent by something. What could do that? Thexa asked. I do not know. Nothing in our science should be capable of affecting spacium on this scale. This would require energy outputs that dwarf our entire civilization's power generation. Whatever the humans found here, it is far beyond our understanding. Another week passed. They were now approaching the orbit of Mars, the fourth planet from Saul. Earth would be visible soon. From the human home world, Thexa studied the sensor readings of the inner system, trying to find some sign of the humans, but there was nothing. No ships, no stations, no defensive networks. It was as if the humans had simply abandoned their own system. War Master, the tactical officer called out, I am detecting a single contact. A ship small size heading toward our position. Finally, after weeks of silence and empty space, the humans were making contact. Thexa straightened at his command station, feeling some of his old confidence return. Here was something he understood. Ships, negotiations, threats, and surrender. This was familiar ground. All weapons lock on target. Do not fire unless I give the order. Let us hear what the humans have to say. The small human ship approached without hesitation, making no aggressive moves. It took up a position exactly 100 kilometers from the flagship, close enough for communication, but too far for effective weapons fire. A communication request came through. Thexa accepted it. A human appeared on the screen. It was a female of their species wearing what appeared to be a formal uniform. She looked directly at Thexa with calm, sad eyes. Welcome to the Sol system, she said in perfect Kryllion. I am Ambassador, Chen of Earth. I have come to give you one final chance to leave in peace. Thexa felt anger surge through him. After weeks of silence, after weeks of fear and uncertainty, the human sent one small ship and one ambassador to offer him a chance to run away. I am War Master Thexa of the Kryllion Empire, he replied. You will surrender your world immediately or we will take it by force. The human ambassador smiled, but there was no humor in it. Only deep sadness. You do not understand. We are not trying to threaten you. We are trying to save you. Save us. Thexa laughed. From what? Your non-existent fleet? Your empty space? No. Ambassador Chen said quietly. We are trying to save you from what we found here. From what lives in this system. Please, War Master, turn your fleet around and leave. This is your last chance. War Master Thexa stared at the human ambassador on his screen. Her words echoed in his mind. Something they found, something that lives here. He wanted to dismiss it as more attempts to frighten him. But the sincerity in her eyes was undeniable. She truly believed what she was saying. Explain, Thexa demanded. What did you find in your system that requires you to hide behind warnings and quarantines? Ambassador Chen took a deep breath. 50 years ago, when we first achieved faster than light travel, we were so excited. We thought we were joining the galactic community. We sent exploration ships throughout our system, mapping every planet, every moon, every asteroid. And on Titan, one of Saturn's moons, we found something. She paused, her eyes distant, as if seeing something far away. It was a structure ancient beyond anything we could measure. Not built by humans, obviously. Not built by any species we have encountered in the galaxy. Our scientists estimated it was at least 50 million years old, maybe older. It was mostly buried in ice, but we could see enough to know it was technology. Incredible technology. Beakston had moved closer to watch the screen.